Okay, guys, so I am here with Katy White. Thank you so much for agreeing to have the question you later.
Pleasure.
Yeah. we just did a Kundalini Yoga class, and it's something that's new to me. Never done anything like it before. I've done some yoga classes before, like hot yoga and whatnot, but this was quite different, right? Quite different. I'll probably flash some images of what we were doing on the screen while this is going on.
Yeah, what was your impression of it?
Yeah, I would say, well, because it's new to me, I'm still familiarizing myself with the poses, right? Your mind is kind of focused on like the physical things, like, okay, I want to be doing this right, and you know what I mean? So I don't have the comfort yet to be able to focus on internal dynamics of the energy moving around. But by the end of that session, I was definitely getting very clear imagery when we did the Dragon Fire, Breath of Fire.
Right? It's last drag. It is a dragon breath.
Right.
Yeah.
The Breath of Fire. After one of the second rounds of doing that, then I started to feel, I don't even know how to describe it, a general excitation of the energy channel, of that whole energy channel, right?
Yeah.
Super subtle, and then a lot of imagery. Actually, one moment where I was seeing really a close-up view of eyes, like of individual animals' eyes, something changing, like a lion's eye looking, and then a monkey's, and then just eyes. Yeah, it was really interesting. So, my first question is, I've done hot yoga classes, regular move break flow as before. What would be the main difference between one of those and this that you did with us today, the Kundalini Yoga class? Yeah.
Sure. It's a good question.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual experience of a Kundalini class, every class is pretty much going to be different. And there are thousands. People have said more than thousands, so we'll just say thousands of different sequences. And personally, I use astrology to choose the sequence of movements or an intention that might work with the present energies, but teachers will choose kriyas for whatever reason, and they will all be different. Some are very active, others are more meditative. Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awakening.
Okay.
And so eyes are shut for a lot of the postures. There's no mirrors around. We're not looking at I guess they don't adjust in every class, but we don't have teachers touching anyone in this class. The intention is to connect with the inner guidance and find that flow or feel into the flow. For me, I developed the Martyr sense of the soul energies through doing this. In this yoga, well, you're supposed to practice vegetarian without any stimulant of any kind. They would say that for like traditional yoga, there are the yamas and the niyamas, or maybe saying that wrong, but they're the do's and don'ts of yoga. And all yoga is supposed to honor these, but most people in the West ignore them.
Right.
And so you can maybe get away with it, or if you can do the pose, if you have like your bulletproof coffee or whatever, eat a cheeseburger and then you still headstand. It looks okay from the outside.
Yeah.
But you're totally going to annihilate your ability to tap into the subtle flow and the breath and all of it. You'll miss out on that aspect through yoga.
Yeah.
So in the West, there's a lot of external focus too, and this is a super, super internalized yoga. That I think is the biggest difference.
Okay.
It was technically banned from leaving India, and so Yogi Bhajan brought it over, I think in the 70s, or the late 60s. And a lot of people said horrible things would happen to him and all practitioners because it is not supposed to leave India. But he thought the way the world was going, this technology, as we call it, was needed to accelerate the awakening of humanity.
Right.
And so that, again, is another intention of this yoga, is to try and jumpstart that awakening process.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I like your use of the term technology because it implies that we're using some sort of mechanism to enhance the efficiency and ease of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
But technologies don't necessarily have to be technical. Yeah, there are technologies of the spirit that we can use.
Right.
And this, yeah, it definitely seems like just one of those. Okay, so you said the word Kriya. What would, if you're going to a class for the first time, then the beginner is probably going to be bamboozled by a bunch of terms that you might not know, or she. So what would...
It's called Google.
Well, if you're listening, didn't want to be so disruptive as to whip out your phone in the middle of a Kriya, and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is probably a great time. Like, let's say you didn't want to do that.
I didn't want to do that, yeah.
What would standard terminologies be that you might hear in a class?
Okay, well, Kriya, we can think of it as a sequence of actions.
Okay.
Mulaban, jewel, banda is a lock.
What?
So either of you were talking about Mulaban, that's the root lock.
Okay.
And so, well, it's in the class. After the posture, for example, we inhale and then we squeeze the root, like we're trying not to pee really. That's an energy point of the body that we utilize. So it's not just a movement, it combines focus, usually breath, and it's just a concentration. In my mind, I see like an intersection. You know, where the roads are, it's just like a meeting of a lot of different channels.
Yeah.
I believe that's my experience.
Yeah, I get that.
And so we're concentrating that. In other forms of yoga, we use the locks as well. There's a root lock, there's a navel lock, there's a neck lock. These are kind of superhero points of the body. Like, I'm digressing a little bit, but there are some postures where it's like you feel like you can't do it. Like you can't balance and sway your legs, over that. But when you use the locks, you tap into the extra force, strength, boost, if you will, that allows you to be achieved further. And so Mulband is one that you'll find in most classes. We're bringing the awareness to the root center, holding, squeezing, and learning to play with that.
Right.
A mudra is a hand gesture.
Okay.
And they all have different functions. You can get really deep into it, like each finger will connect to different planetary force or energy force. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, by working with the Jupiter finger, Jupiter is the teacher, source of knowledge, wisdom. When we connect with them, as the first finger, which is Dhyan Mudra, which is the classic yogi pose. We are connecting with our inner teachers and that wisdom or see. If I'm not feeling articulate, like maybe right now, sometimes I will find myself wanting to switch to the Mercury finger, enhance my orientation.
Right.
We Saturn for discipline. And there are various meditations of Kriyas where we play with the different and so to fit. And Mudra is the hand, which is another one over the heart.
Okay.
There are different positioning gestures of the hands that will activate, I think, in cellular memories. Yeah. Our bodies are so intelligent and amazing, and you forget that if we press these little buttons, we can activate superpowers. Yeah, that makes sense to me. You're an electrical unit, everything is conductive, and you've got that electricity and energy flowing through all of your fingers. If you make slightly different physical movements, then you would have just a slightly different type of energy signature that might influence a different type of channel in your body, a different type of influence. Way better put, yeah. Is that right? Okay. Oh, no, thank you. I think the last question that I want to ask, this is called Kundalini Yoga. Yeah. And I know you gave us a description of what this is. That force itself, why would it be beneficial for us to do things like this where we're trying to raise Kundalini? What would be a good benefit to you in your life by doing these classes where you are stimulating that energy? Method is to do so much like circulating about what is it, what isn't it. Yeah. Well, for one, when Kundalini Yoga first came here to the West, most of the people attracted to it were pot-smoking hippies.
Right.
LSD. People doing drugs, basically.
Right.
And Yogi Bosa wanted the monks of drugs to do this yoga.
Yeah.
And so it was almost, people say that you can open Kundalini or the psychic center or forces within the body using medicine. And I know it's not good or bad. That's one way. Trauma, can open energy. Kundalini Yoga is a way of activating and opening into the energies of awakening in a more controlled way. I think most people, however, who are drawn to Kundalini Yoga, I see a connection to that initial history in the United States anyway, of people had openings in kind of a chaotic way, and this was creating like discipline, and was allowing them to use their own power and to channel universal power, feel connectedness through all people in a more controlled and intentional way.
Right.
I think, at least for me, I did not have a drug detox, but I had a spontaneous psychic awakening, and that lets you like really confused and troubled, and that was super hard. And so, I mean, personally, I did turn to like alcohol and cigarettes. I'll be like straight up, and then I used Kundalini Yoga. I believe that's so many tools. But of all of them, I loved Kundalini because I felt like my sensitivity was a gift instead of a curse. It was something that I didn't want to mask or numb or cover up in some way. It's like, finally I know what to do with that energy.
Right.
And it's hard in this society because people who feel are told to numb. And then that they're weak or, whatever, all sorts of people say nasty stuff. And so the community is fairly strong. I'm not like super involved, but I find that if I take a break from Kundalini and start it again, I've got Kundalini brothers and sisters like texting me because they can feel it.
They know when you're practicing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. The feeling of connectedness is not just some abstract concept. It's and it becomes part of your reality.
Yeah.
And so there's an incentive to have the discipline to cultivate the subtlety to do this practice.
Right.
And some people are born with that. Others, they have an awakening. And
Some people are born with it. Others might have to do stuff like this with a bit more focus. To get there. Where people who do it naturally might have that.
Yeah, and like go here with Tanglewood, and so there's water fasting and raw vegetarian diets, and you made signs that when you pull away the denser foods, there's all this energy and emotion that people don't actually know what to do with.
Right.
So having a practice like Kundalini can be hugely beneficial for processing those emotions. Most people have their energy stuck in the roots, and to complete all sorts of, psychological problems. And it allows it, if the Kundalini is activated or open, you're also evening out that energy through the whole body.
Releasing and allowing energy to move through your body with greater profundity, with greater strength. That would probably have to equate to more energy exuding from your being and enhancing all the qualities of life, right?
I think so. I mean, I stumbled into my first Kundalini class by accident. By complete, that was not my intention to do Kundalini. I had been farming for 2 years. My body was pretty broken. I was tired. I was like, I didn't know what was up. I just wanted to stretch.
Right.
And I ended up like crying during Shavasana cleaning class. And I thought like, this thing made me cry. Like, what are they doing? Like, what is going on here? So that got me curious. And eventually did the teacher training where you get really, really into it. You become aware of your own inner power and light that you can't otherwise see. You need the stress test a little bit.
I don't want to keep Katy too long. That's pretty much all the questions I have for you today. The last thing I have to say is that I think one of those postures, is it bad if one of those postures fractured my perineum? Is that medically relevant for me?
A Kundalini posture fracture?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted to scare you for a second. No.
Ask your inner doer. That's not my business.
That's not true. I mean, you guys don't know.
You're pretty. I'm not until that.
We did a posturing class where you sit, right? You angle your perineum and sit on your heel.
Right, yeah, there's contact. We could say, yeah.
Right. Anyways, we're not going to get into it. I'm just making a joke. You'd have to be here, to get it. Anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much. That was wonderful. If you guys are interested, definitely check out our class. I had a really, really interesting experience with my first one. And and lastly, any social media, people can check you out at Instagram or...
Okay, I'm the Genuine Mystic on Instagram. Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with social, but if people start following, I'll be motivated to post more.
Yeah.
With mainly an astrology channel. I do like mediumship, astrology, hypnotherapy, clairvoyance, any woo-woo stuff. Basically.
Yeah.
But I also teach Kundalini, and so that's where you can follow.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, if you'd like to know more about Katy, see what she's all about, then visit her Instagram. I'll put her information in the description below, and that's it. Time to enjoy the evening. Okay. Thank you so much, Katy. All right, guys. You know what? I'm not gonna go through the regular spiel. That's just gonna end the video. Okay. Subscribe if you like, I guess, but. Video over. Okay. All right. Ciao. Cool. Awesome.